Like the rumors of MAGA's demise are greatly exaggerated. Trump-backed candidates in Indiana mopping the floor with the incumbents last night, sending 5 state Senate Republicans who crossed the president on redistricting into early retirement, with a 6th race too close to call. Pretty good record when you consider that 47 endorsed just 7 candidates. Cue the liberal media wine fest.
They knew what was coming if they stood up to Trump. They stood up to him anyways. I just wonder how different you think our country and our politics could be if more Republicans had that in them.
If we're all actually talking about what we believe in, that is better than Republicans repeatedly having to feel pressure to either lose their career or do something wrong because the president is demanding it.
Democrats can complain all they want, but they can't deny Trump's golden touch still untouched. Jessica, yesterday he was showing off his classic charm, teaching kids the Trump dance and cracking jokes in the Oval. Watch.
Are you a strong person?
Yes, sir.
Good. You think you can take me in a fight? How about you? What sport do you play?
I play volleyball, and in the summer I'm trying to get into soccer.
Wow. Wow. And with your height, do you smash the ball, the volleyball?
No.
Do you get up high? Can you jump high?
Not very.
Soccer might be better.
All right, Dan, I know the redistricting is, it's an aggressive strategy, but the media built this up pretty high. The Trump, this is a big test whether he still had clout.
Right. And so they were hoping the answer was no. And I think what the Trump political machine showed is they still have money, they still have organization, and they're really good at beating other Republicans.
They are.
So will they be as good at beating Democrats in the fall? We'll see. Possibly. The Democrats don't have as much money, and they don't have as much organization as he has. So I think the Republicans benefit certainly from having him be in the lead. And I know it's kind of frustrating sometimes for the White House to say, well, why aren't these guys pulling their weight? They should be out there talking about the big, beautiful bill. But I mean, the other thing is, though, President Trump dominates the headlines. He wants to dominate the headlines. He blots out the sun. And so they can't really complain also that they're not out there because the president drives every media cycle over and over again. One thing I'm really interested in is how unpopular, both parties are unpopular. Congress is unpopular, everything's unpopular. But the Democrats have this unpopularity problem, and how they figure out how to deal with what we were talking about in the A block, which is the rift, even though Obama doesn't think it really exists, but you have far left progressives looking like they're edging out establishment Republicans. And does that mean, establishment Democrats, then does that mean it gives Republicans a better chance to have better margins, or at least certainly keep the Senate, or keep Democrat wins down to just single digits?
Yeah, that's a risk for sure. Jessica, aren't you glad we brought back competition? Obama kind of watered everything down. You just had to participate and you got a trophy. Now we're going to have kids boxing each other.
Yes.
Getting in really good shape.
Yeah, the FIFA Peace Prize winning president that brought back real competition.
That's right.
Okay.
Drop and give me 20.
All right. I agree with everything that Dana just said about last night's results. Also bragging about 5 of 7 races in a state that Trump won by 19 points does not seem like the own that the Republicans think that it is. And we'll see what happens if it's even a Trump plus 10 state, for instance. And also, I think one of those seats that now has a super MAGA Republican is actually a swing district. So we'll see if that ends up hurting them longer term. But I get it. It's the immediate dopamine hit, and you could play, on loop crying libs or whatever. He's intervened in redistricting quite a bunch, and he has lost on that front quite a bunch. Virginia and California lost on Prop 50, then tried to use his DOJ to politicize it, gets up to SCOTUS, and SCOTUS says, actually, no, they can use the map that the people legitimately chose. It was a ballot measure. That's how democracy works. And I get it. You got to put your best foot forward. You want to be in campaign mode. But this victory lap against the backdrop of approval ratings in the low 30s, the war in Iran is now more unpopular than the Vietnam War, which nobody's a fan of. 25% approval rating on cost of living, which is the #1 issue to people. Our economic anxiety index at the lowest in recorded history, and Democrats are now up +10 on the generic ballot. I don't want to be a Jesse Waters and say blue tsunami, coming our way. But, if this is what's really exciting you at the moment, you are not paying attention to, what is it, the forest through the trees?
That is a good way to describe it. I did
I'll end on
not
that
choose
note.
this segment to do on the 5. Just saying. I'm not all excited about it.
Do you want to switch for the fastest?
We're just doing what we're told to do. Paul.
Okay.
You are.
Do what you're told to do, Paul.
A couple of things here. This is a double-edged sword, because if Trump is the party, what happens post-Trump, right? You got to consider that. And, you always hear, well, there's going to be Trumpism post-Trump. Is that possible? Because the guy is such a tsunami of personality. And is there another one out there? You hear Vance, you hear Rubio, et cetera, and that's a debate for 3 years from now. But the bottom line is, if it takes Donald Trump to get you over the finish line in races that matter, then you got to say to yourself, well, what happens when he's not around, because he's human like everybody else. I think what's going on here is the following. MAGA, in most people's mind, comes down to a common denominator of just a couple of things. And I think primary among them is safety, the border, and then, of course, economic conservatism, and they look to the market. And that's why Trump's always invoking the market. It's a very shorthand way of looking at things. And I think the Indiana results are resultant of a current frustration on the right and in the party. And I think one of the places it resides is the SAVE Act. There are a number of things that the right really, really wants and feels like they're not being heard. And so whether it's redistricting, et cetera, these things are all the usual political machinations. They're just getting to the second power. But I think there are things here that the Republican Party sits back, the electorate, and says, we had the House, we had the Senate, we had the presidency. Where are the things that we want? And some of them have not been delivered. And so when you see Indiana's leaders say, no, we're not going to partake of that, it made them quick, like shorthand villains. And I think that's why it went the way it went. Now, what that means for the larger electorate, we're going to have to find out in the midterms, because there's only one thing less popular than Congress writ large these days, and that is the Democratic Party. So there's numbers all over the place. Let's see what happens. If Iran is resolved, the numbers come down relative to the price of oil, the economy spikes, and I think that's what they're counting on. I think you're going to see a very different situation in November than you have right now.
Greg Gutfeld.
Look I drew.
Oh, you
Like
love
these?
redistricting.
Yeah. Boy, was this a topic or what? Huh? What were you drawing at home? Look, I want to talk about Trump and kids.
Let's do it.
Come on. That was what this segment should have been about. He was talking about Iran.
Yeah, he said they were going to die.
They were going to die. How do we not talk about that? I love how he doesn't talk down to kids. He told them the specifics, the grisly facts about war. Now, you could argue he should have tamped it down, but it speaks to the nature of Trump and that his critics get wrong, which is he doesn't talk down or condescend, whether you're a child or a woman, Dana.
Ooh.
Yes, condescend means talking down.
Oh, thank you.
He will, he doesn't care if you're gay, non-binary, Asian, black, Mexican, a woodland nymph. He doesn't see identity. The kids are there. He goes, this is what's going to happen. He's great with kids because he's kind of great with people. He's one-on-one and in groups. And if you don't like him, that's fine. I don't care. But why do you care that I like him? That's the key to all this. We talk about these, fractious relationships, but I'm okay with you hating Trump. Why aren't you okay with me liking him? If you could just look in the mirror and answer that question, liberals, you would feel so much better. Why does it bother you that people like Trump? Perhaps there's a large role in your dissatisfaction. It might be your own personal resentments. You may play a large role emotionally in how you feel about Trump. Maybe if you get over that, you'll spend less time and effort being so miserable.
Do you have an answer to that, Jessica?
Why do I
Or
care
a
that you
theory?
like him?
I don't think she cares.
I mean, do you have a theory about why liberals care so much that other people like Trump?
Because he's like a completely morally bankrupt person that's
But
implementing
why should you
all of
care
these-
that I like him? Why
Well,
should
I
you
have
care?
accepted that you like him, but I think it's hard for people when they care about someone.
Whoa.
To say,
This is the
what
perfect
about,
thing. Why do they care? Tell me why. What's
well, because,
underneath?
Okay.
Well, care leads to voting, and then voting leads to bad policies
Why can
that
I
make
not be a
life
friend
harder
of yours
for.
if you like Trump?
If he was your friend, I'd be much more chill about it. But because you like him, he's my
Well,
president.
I think she's misdiagnosed. It has nothing to do with morality. You
course
don't
it does.
care about morality.
Of course we do.
Your party doesn't support standards of morality. Anything.
What?
You can do drugs. You can be homeless. You can hit people, rape people, let other murderers into the country. You can do all kinds of things. They don't judge.
They're going to let
don't
the son
judge.
of Sam. You're going to let the son of Sam out of jail. The son of Sam. Come on.
You guys
Trump.
apologize to a guy who tried to shoot the president.
Keep the son of Sam.
Your
First of all, one
morality.
judge said that.
Go talk to Go talk to Bill
You
Clinton
guys
about
got
morality.
evangelicals to support a guy who has cheated on every single wife that he's
But who
had.
cares if I like him?
I said I don't care. I have
No,
accepted
but why do your peers? Why do you? I'm doing it,
Because
Scott
it
Jennings.
reflects
Get your
who we
finger out of my
are.
face. No, why do liberals care that we like him? It's because they cannot get themselves emotionally out of the way, and it bothers them. They know that they might be wrong. The sunk cost of hating somebody
It's because it
rips
has
you apart.
electoral consequences.
Not everybody
Because
thinks
people
that
say,
way.
Oh, I don't.
We don't walk around and go, "What's the polling say?
Well,
What's
what
the
do you
electoral
care about?
college?"
Then why are we looking at any video of Obama? What do you care? That suit was fly, and just let him have his stupid museum.
I like the suit.
You did not. You definitely
I love the
terrorist
suit.
fist jabs
I
or whatever
own a
about
tan
him.
suit. Darn it.
You did not criticize him for that at the podium.
I wasn't even on the 5 back then.
On Waters
And I
World.
definitely would not have.
Roll
Coming up
the
next,
tape.
stop. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.